Hey everybody, happy Friday. Amy Yardley here with Navigate Your Healing and CEO and manager and supervisor at Team Spencer. So today I wanted to talk about sleep in terms of autism awareness and try to give people an understanding of the things of what life is like for individuals who have autism and of course the families who are there supporting them. And so sleep is really this thread that goes through all of our families and all of our lives, and but maybe more appropriately I should say a lack of sleep is what happens in our families. Sleep is really one of those things. It is so important for health and for cognitive functioning and for just kind of being a nice human being. And when you get into a state where you can't get good sleep or you're consistently not getting enough sleep, even you can think about yourself. It's like, if I don't get enough sleep, I'm a really crabby human being. Don't talk to me. Everything in the world is irritating to me. Generally I have a lower stress tolerance the less sleep I've had. And I think a lot of people who don't live this life or don't understand or don't support a person with autism can't really understand exactly how much sleep is affecting the individual and affecting the family. Because of course, if you have one person in your house who doesn't sleep, guess what? Nobody in your house sleeps. And a lot of our kids, for a lot of different reasons. Yesterday I talked about a whole slew of co-morbid conditions, and all of those can impact an individual's ability to sleep. Their ability to get to sleep, their ability to stay asleep, and their ability to get to those deep states of sleep. There are issues oftentimes with all three of those, and not just for a day or two or a week or two, but for years on end. And so oftentimes as parents, we are incredibly sleep deprived, which means we're experiencing a lot of cognitive I want to say delays. See, I can't even think because I'm sleep deprived. But we have a decrease in cognitive functioning because sleep is just one of those things. The thing that happens with sleep that is really important to know is that there are three major things that happen in your sleep and only happen in your sleep. So the first one is cellular repair. In every single part of our body. Our bodies go into this sort of state of paralysis so that our cells can get repaired. And if you don't get to that deep state of sleep, then you're not having cellular repair, which means every day you're starting out not at 100%, but you're starting out at, maybe 98%. And then if it goes on and on and on and on, every single day you're operating at less and less and less efficiency at a cellular level, at a cognitive level. So cellular repair happens in your sleep. The other thing that happens in your sleep is your brain detox. Your brain actually has a lymphatic system. It doesn't look like the traditional lymphatic system that we have in the rest of our body with the nodes and things like that, but they have discovered that the brain does in fact detox, and guess what? It only detoxes at night when you're in sleep mode and a particular type of sleep. So if you're not getting that kind of sleep, then your body is not able to remove the metabolic waste and other types of materials that have accumulated in your brain over the course of the day. So that's really important. And the third important thing that happens in your sleep is that our gut and our gut bacteria are actually responsible for generating and synthesizing a lot of vitamins that are needed for our body, particularly vitamin B's and vitamin K's. And so there's actually this doctor, she's a sleep doctor, but she's done some amazing work and some videos on what the body and the gut does when it sleeps and all of the stuff that doesn't happen if you don't get the sleep that you need. Her name is Dr. Stasha Gomanak, and when I get home today, I'll go ahead and post a video that she did on YouTube that talks about sleep. And she's really brilliant. So if you have any kind of issues with sleep, I really suggest watching her video. So of course what happens then is if we live day after day, night after night, year after year of not getting this deep restorative sleep, then what happens is that we're not resting and repairing, we're not resting and digesting, and we have an individual or we have an entire family that's basically wired and tired. And again, that's just not a really great way to live. You want to be able to support sleep as much as possible. So, and what happens is, again, we have a lower stress tolerance when we are in that mode. And so if you are not affected by autism, the way that you can support autism families is just understanding that sometimes when we're seeing our kids melt down in public or at the house or whatever, in your neighborhood, or you see the parents who are just, they're like this and they don't want to talk to you and they don't want to really communicate or engage. It could just be that we are just so entirely sleep deprived that it's just really hard for us to go about doing anything extra in the day. Sleep deprivation is huge for families. So understand that some of the behaviors that you may see from our kids are because they're based in a lack of sleep. And some of the behaviors that you see in us parents because of a lack of sleep. And we just ask also that, instead of maybe just offering suggestions right off the bat about how we might be able to get our kids to sleep, is that you ask questions so that you have a better understanding. Because there's kind of nothing more frustrating than living with this condition, the condition of insomnia, for years on end, to have somebody just say, oh, well, have you tried lavender? And it's like, well, yeah, I've kind of tried a lot of things. We're not just sitting around waiting for something to magically happen. We are always trying and strategizing and trying to figure out, like, why is my kid not sleeping? Why does my kid have trouble getting to sleep? Why can my kid not stay asleep? And then trying to do all of these different things to do that. So the best way that you can support a family if you learn that they're not getting really great sleep is to just ask questions and say, gosh, it sounds really hard. I want to know more. What kinds of things have you done? And what kinds of things have you found that have helped? And then after you've sought some more, understanding, if you have something that maybe you've tried in your life or you've heard of somebody that wasn't mentioned, you can say, gosh, I'm no expert on this, but I have a friend who tried this and that really helped them with their sleep. It's just an easier way to communicate with somebody who's in crisis rather than jumping right in and assuming that they haven't done anything. Seek first to understand exactly what their situation is and then offer some supports. If you yourself are a parent dealing with sleep insomnia, I guess that's a double. It's just insomnia, right? Of course, we could have sleep rituals are a good thing to do. So that the body and the brain get sort of trained that, okay, this is the time at night, we're shutting everything down, we're getting quiet, no screen time, an hour, at least an hour, longer before sleep, because we know that the blue light from electronic screens is stimulating to the brain. And so everything that you do up to that is you want to start trying to work down, powering down the brain, right? And bringing the nervous system into parasympathetic versus sympathetic, the rest and the digest. Treating the comorbid conditions can do a lot for sleep. A lot of kids have a much better sleep when their diet is improved and cleaned up. And they're no longer having leaky gut, and they're no longer having all of those toxic issues with that. Exercise can help a lot. It just gets the lymphatic system moving, gets everything moving, gets all of the organs working. Liver support can be really good too, because liver, particularly if you have a kid that wakes up in the middle of the night, it can signal that the liver is working hard, because that's when the liver does a lot of its work. And if it wakes you up, then you're like, oh, my liver is working really hard. So supporting the liver, which of course the liver is also part of the digestive system. So that whole thing is all mixed in there together. And then in the room itself, having really dark rooms, having fans going so that we're not hearing every little sound going on in the house, but it's just the sound of the fan. So therefore my brain tunes into the sound of the fan and not everything else that's going on in the house. Air filters can help in the bedroom just to get a very much cleaner sleeping environment. Of course, no screens in the bedroom, and even just electronic stuff, just kind of reducing that EMF exposure, reducing that dirty energy exposure can go a long way to getting the body and the brain more relaxed to do that. And of course, here at Navigate Your Healing, we also advocate regular chiropractic care, because one of the things that happens too when we think about the brain detoxing, it's like that requires the fluid flow from the brain down to the spinal cord. And so the cerebrospinal fluid has to be able to flow freely and well. And of course, if you have great chiropractic care, then you're just assured there that you are having a better flow of that. And then chiropractic can help in all sorts of other ways of getting the nervous system into balance and reducing stressors to the nervous system. And all of that stuff can build together, can build a good foundation for getting sleep. And even when I say that, though, I've been at this for a number of years. last night my kid was up at about 2 a.m. and he went back to sleep probably about 5:30 a.m. and then woke up again right about 10 a.m. So one of my strategies for survival for parents with that, if you have a kid that does that, is we homeschool. So I don't have the stress of having to get him up at a particular time, which is huge. And then whenever we schedule appointments, I always ask, I'm like, I need an afternoon appointment. And if people give me a hard time about that, then I explain to them, well, this is why I want an afternoon appointment. Because I know my kid is better in the afternoon. And I also know that he gets really, really, really deep, good sleep in the mornings. And so the last thing I want to do is wake him up when he's in the middle of that deep sleep. Now, somebody else might be different. They might be, look, my kid is up every day at 4 a.m. and therefore he's better at 10 a.m. than he is at 2 p.m. And so it's really just a matter of understanding when your kid is going to be better and then helping other people understand how they can better accommodate you with that. So on behalf of Navigate Your Healing and Team Spencer, I wish you deep sleep. And if you have any strategies for what's helped your child go to sleep or what has helped you with your sleep, drop them in the comments. And like I said, I'm going to drop that video when I get home. I'll drop a link to that YouTube video by that Dr. Gomanak. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I don't know. Anyway, so always wishing you great sleep and always seeking ways to get better sleep. We'll talk to you later.